Inside the Legends of the Franchise program, you will be able to obtain 3 out of the 5 rewards from each and every single division, and I'm here to help you basically decide which are the 3 best in each and every single division. We're gonna start off with the AL East. I think the first person everyone should be looking to pick up is Jorge Posada. Why? Well, surprisingly, he has second base as a secondary, so he definitely fits the mode of being a utility player. Another big factor is he is a switch hitting catcher that has over 100 contact against both sides. Having over 100 contact is very important as pitchers come out with higher hit per nines, and as you play on much more challenging difficulties, the PCI is only going to keep shrinking. So the contact is important, and I think Jorge Posada definitely gives me the Adley Rutschman vibes early on inside the game cycle, but even better than Adley Rutschman, as Jorge Posada even had a diamond version card himself that a lot of people used, and I think this one it's only going to get better with, especially as you parallel him as well. The second card I think everyone should be looking at is Shawn Green. He adds a little bit of utility as well. He has a pretty sweet swing, and if worse comes to worse and your outfield is absolutely stacked, he does have that secondary position of first base that he can also play for you. Now, not only that, he will also serve greatly as a platoon hitter, considering he has 121 contact versus right and 125 power versus right. Versus right-handers, he's going to be a problem. Versus left-handers, still a problem clearly, but not as big as a problem as versus right-handers. And then last but not least for me, it was a very hard decision. It was between Wade Boggs and Brooks Robinson. Now, George Brett is available if you are able to obtain him through the collections, and I think he's on par, if not similar, to Wade Boggs, and I think he can give you basically around the same production level. So instead, in this one, I decided to go with Brooks Robinson. Why? Because he has secondary shortstop, and he already has 99 fielding. So if you parallel him up to parallel 4, even at shortstop, he's going to have diamond fielding at 99. So he's going to be getting exclusive animations only available to 99 overalls. But he's a right-handed hitter. There are a ton of good right-handed and left-handed hitters, but I think the left-handed hitters, they overwhelm in terms of like positions to go ahead and take up, and I think right-handed hitters such as Brooks Robinson give you a little bit of utility. He's great against right-handers. He doesn't have the most power in the world against left-handers, but it's perfectly fine because he hits the threshold where if he catches one, it should absolutely be disappearing. Looking at the AL Central, this might be surprising, but I think that Alan Trammell is going to be, if not the best, one of the best rewards that you can obtain from the AL Central. Now, Alan Trammell, you guys might think he's trash because you don't know him as a player, let's say for example, but his card inside the game, I've used the gold version of his card previously, I've used the diamond versions of his card as well. None of them ever have had the juice in terms of power such as this one, and I'm telling you, the gold versions of his cards, especially in Battle Royale, they are goated. He has a very unique stance that's very quick to the ball, and even on inside pitches, it feels like you're beating the baseball even if it beats you. It's very weird, but with the contact numbers and the power numbers, and he still has diamond fielding out there, 87 reaction is gold reaction, but it's still good enough to play him at short. Another thing that adds value to him is he's a utility guy. Not only can he play second and third, but he also can play left and center field as well. So that just adds utility to him as well. Cliff Lee, second choice here. Starting pitchers, you're gonna need to start, amping up your rotation, basically beefing them up. 103 hit per 9 is not the best in the world, but it's doable. And then 98k per 9 is also good. The only thing that defeats Cliff Lee is obviously he's never had outlier in his life, and this card is no different, but he has a pretty good arsenal. Only thing I would have liked a little bit more was probably to have a slider instead of a knuckle curve, but hey, you can't have everything you wish for. Good speed differentials, and that cutter can serve to be a slider as well if you learn how to mix your pitch as well. And then last but not least, inside the AL Central is going to be Ray Durham. The only thing I dislike about this card is it doesn't have great utility. You're either going to most likely play him at second base, and the outfield is so stacked, you're most likely not having him at center field, especially since he starts off and is going to remain at gold fielding in center field as well as gold reaction. The speed is great at a 95, and he's a switch hitter as well. He has the power numbers as well. All of these cards are juiced. Like, there is not a singular card that you can look at this program that does not have at least 80 power against one side. Going to the AL West, surprisingly enough, we don't go with Roy Oswalt as number 1. Instead, we go with Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson, he's giving you power against both sides, contact against both sides. The fielding starts off at an 88. Parallel 2 is going to be a 90. He already has diamond reaction at a 92, and then 99 speed. I mean, you can't ask for much more than 99 speed. Almost anything in the gap, he should be able to run it down, and if you keep him at his primary position, there are going to be probably some of the best animation, best jumps you can get possibly on a baseball. Now, number 2 is going to be Roy Oswalt. Now, unfortunately, this card does not have outlier, and the hit per 9 is similar to Cliff Lee, but the K per 9 is much higher, and the repertoire is a lot better. Speed differentials are also a bit better as well. Only thing missing on this card is a cutter, but you get a 12.6 that comes in at 72 miles per hour that should be able to fool some hitters. I really like Roy Oswalt. I think he should be the second card that you're picking up. And then last but not least, it was a difficult decision to pick the third one between Edgar Martinez and Ivan Rodriguez, but at the end of the day, I had to go with Ivan Rodriguez. Why? Because he serves that catcher position, and not only does he serve that catcher position, oh my lord, Jesus Christ, I almost had a heart attack. That was basically the alert box. Someone followed the stream, twitch.tv/Bhlademyst, if you guys want to go ahead and follow the stream as well. But Ivan Rodriguez, he plays catcher. He's a speedy catcher. 99 arm strength is amazing for a catcher. He has 99 fielding, so playing at first, which you most likely won't have him there, but playing at second base, he's gonna be able to do it well there as well. The only downside to him is his reaction is going to drop to silver until you prowl on him too. He has great contact, maxed out contact, and great power against both sides. So that's why we went with Pudge. A lot more utility than Edgar Martinez. Looking at the NL East, the number 1 pick is Hank Aaron. I mean, this is the number 1 card out of the entire Legends face of the franchise program. I'm telling you right now, if you don't know how to swing the bat with Hank Aaron, you best learn, because you will not see a card come out with better numbers than this Hank Aaron unless we're getting ourselves 99 Babe Ruth coming out at some later point inside the game cycle. But 119, 116, 125, 116, unless to my knowledge, I don't know of another card that has similar numbers. But paralleled up to parallel 5 is a monster. He starts off with diamond fielding at right field, gold reaction at an 85, 80 speed. The beautiful thing about him is utility guy. Can play first, second, third, left, center. Only positions he can't play are catcher and shortstop. So definitely someone you want on your team. And then it's like they put it in order for the NL East, right? Number 2 is going to be AJ Burnett. 114 hit per 9, you kidding me? 113 K per 9, you kidding me? And then he has a spectacular arsenal as well with the 4-seam knuckle curve combo. He has the sinker, changeup, slider. The slider being his 5th pitch means that's the one he has the least amount of control with. So, you know, you're going to have to really work on that knuckle curve instead of the changeup in terms of off speed that are horizontal. And then the slider, you're gonna have to work your best. Unfortunately, the card doesn't have outlier, but if it did have outlier, it'd be the number 1 pitcher, probably the number 1 card inside the face of the franchise program for Legends. And then number 3 for the NL East is going to be Tom Glavine. 107 hit per 9 is better than Cliff Lee, who we've already mentioned. It's also better than Roy Oswalt, who we've already mentioned. And then the K per 9 being at 112, I'm at 107 hit per 9. Now, I don't know what I said, but 112 K per 9, it's also better than Cliff Lee, and it's just 1 below Roy Oswalt. He has a great arsenal as well, and the pitch speed differentials are a little bit more overwhelming, I'd say. The only downside to Tom Glavine is on higher difficulties, and even at lower difficulties, he doesn't really have anything that's gonna blow past you, if you get what I'm saying. He doesn't throw the fastball at 98, 99, 100, so it's gonna be readable, but it's gonna be also very easy to locate with, since he has great control of his pitches and a great walk per 9. Definitely top 3 in the NL East and the pitcher that you're going to want to get. Looking at the NL Central, we start off with Ryne Sandberg. Ryne Sandberg, if you know his swing, you're going to do great with him. He's utility, he plays third, and he also plays shortstop. He has great contact versus right, great power versus right, same thing against left-hand side. 94 fielding, even if you do play him at a secondary, it starts off with Diamond fielding. Reaction starts off at an 88, even at the primary position. If you play in him at a secondary, it's going to remain gold. But once you get him to parallel 2 at the primary position, his reaction turns diamond. 84 speed, 96 stealing, 99 base running aggressiveness. These are the type of players I like, because whether or not you know this, base running aggressiveness is basically how well they run the base paths. So if you have players that have high base running aggressiveness, they're going to be able to round from first to third better than someone that has anything lower than them. And then number 2, the NL Central felt like the most underwhelming one, along with the AL Central. It always feels like the Centrals are underwhelming, but Jason Bay, just looking at it from an attribute standpoint, is definitely number 2 in the NL Central. He plays left field primary, has great numbers against both lefties and righty in terms of contact and power. 84 fielding, 77 arm strength, and then 62 speed. You look at a guy like Ricky Henderson and you compare that to Jason Bay, and you're taking Ricky Henderson 10 out of 10 times because of the better fielding, because of the better speed, and then he's gonna do just as well when it comes to hitting as Jason Bay. And another thing is, Ricky Henderson is also more likely to give you a good bunt than Jason Bay. And we know how you cheesers are out there. You guys love bunting. And then to me, the third pick would be Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder has a goated swing inside the game. He only plays first base, unfortunately, so there's no utility there. But hey, the swing is goated. He can come off the bench as a pinch hitter. If not, he can be a platoon hitter if you have Frank Thomas at first base, or a big righty that you like platoon with a left-hander on the bench. Last but not least, we have ourselves the NL West. I started it off with Steve Finley. Everyone knows Steve Finley was a division reward one of these years for MLB The Show, and his card was goated for a long time, and he didn't even have great contact numbers. It's just the swing carries the card, and I expect that to be the exact same scenario when it comes to Steve Finley raking in MLB The Show 22. His contact is good enough, although it's similar to Jorge Posada. The power numbers are better than Jorge Posada. The only difference is my man is a left-handed hitter only, and Jorge Posada is a switch hitter. Now the fielding, he starts off diamond. Not even if you put him in a secondary will it fall off diamond. Reaction, although, it starts off as an 88, so that's gold. If you put him at a secondary, even if you parallel him up to parallel 5, it's remaining gold. He has 82 speed. The stealing and base running aggressiveness are not the greatest in the world, but he's gonna hit dingers. So what does he need to learn how to steal or basically have base running aggressiveness for? And then number 2 for me is going to be Tony Gwynn. Maxed out contact against both sides, and this time around he has great power against righties and good enough power against lefties with diamond fielding for right field, 88 speed. I mean, this card is amazing. Tony Gwynn always has a goated swing, and even though his power numbers were low before in MLB The Show cycle, he always hit gap shots and he always hit home runs. So I expect this card to do 10 times better than we've ever expected for them. And then last but not least, I got my boy Don Sutton. Now, I don't know why I picked him, to be honest. I think, like I said previously, you just want to beef up your starting rotation a lot more, and someone with 117 hit per 9 is definitely going to beef it up a lot more when it comes to going ahead and shrinking the PCIs versus your opponents in any difficulty whatsoever. Not only that, but he does have decent off-speed pitches with good speed differentials. The only downside to him is the downside to most of these starting pitchers. None of them have outlier, and not only do they not have outlier, most of them don't even throw past 97, I'd say, for example, as he maxes out around 93, I'd say 95, 96, and then the sinker is 92, I'd say 94, 95. So nothing too overpowering where you're going to be able to blow it past the hitter. You're most likely going to get a jam shot, and we know how those land. But regardless, Don Sutton should be good enough because of the hitting engine in this game. It's so bad that it might end up helping you out just because he shrinks the PCI so much. But with that being said, don't you forget, hit that like button or subscribe button, turn on the channel notifications, go ahead and check out the description for all the links that might interest you in terms of my Discord as well as social medias. Have a blessed day and night, stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.